The room vibrated with the low murmur of conversation. Champagne flutes chiming softly like distant bells, and the mix of cologne and perfume thick in the air. I stood near the bar, tie loosened, watching my wife, Elise, move through the corporate gala, as if she were born to belong among its shimmer and gold. Her navy dress fit her perfectly, catching the light every time she laughed with a cluster of executives around her. Then I saw it, his hand broad and possessive, settling on her waist. Richard Voss, her boss. He leaned in too close, his lips brushing her ear as he murmured something that brought color to her cheeks. My stomach twisted. Some primitive instinct screamed that this wasn't harmless. It was a bold, public claim. I tightened my hold on the glass, the chill biting into my palm, and told myself I was imagining things. Elise had worked late nights at Voss Enterprises for months, climbing the ranks under Richard's guidance. The long hours, the glances, the messages arriving past midnight, his name lighting up her phone. I'd always brushed it off as ambition, her dedication to success. But now, watching his fingers linger on her hip, the ground seemed to shift beneath me. My pulse pounded, a mix of anger and dread, as I searched her face for a sign. Did she lean toward him? Was that a smile or flinch? The room swayed around me, laughter and music fading into a muffled hum. I forced myself to breathe, to think. Elise wasn't like that. She loved me, didn't she? We had built a life. 10 years of whispered dreams, late-night talks, and quiet mornings tangled in warmth. Yet doubt crept in, slithering through every memory. Her distracted silences, the way she'd begun locking her phone, the perfume she only wore for work. Small things, innocent on their own, but now they stacked together like evidence I never wanted to see. "Mark, you all right?" Tom, my old college friend, appeared beside me, his hand clapping my shoulder, snapping me back. I nodded, forcing a smile, though my eyes stayed on Elise. She had stepped slightly away from Richard, posture tight, but he shadowed her movements. The gala buzzed on, the grand ballroom gleaming with gold and crystal, servers weaving through the crowd with trays of canapes. Richard's deep, confident voice rose above the noise as he addressed a group of executives. He ruled the room, the untouchable alpha, drawing admiration tinged with fear. I moved closer through the crowd, my heart thundering. Elise caught my eye. Her smile flickered for an instant before she waved me over. "Mark, there you are," she said brightly, too brightly, like an actress on stage. Richard turned toward me then, his gaze locking on mine, amusement flickering in his eyes. "This must be the husband," he said, extending his hand. His grip was firm, almost crushing, a silent challenge. "Elise speaks highly of you." "Does she?" I shot back, my voice sharper than intended. Elise's eyes darted toward me, worry flashing across her face. I wanted to ask right there, demand the truth, but the crowd pressed in, and Richard smoothly redirected the conversation, his arm brushing against hers as he gestured. My chest tightened, jealousy and betrayal clawing at me. Was I losing my mind, or was it all real? The night dragged painfully on. Every moment felt like slow torture. I caught the lingering looks he gave her, the nervous laugh she forced in return. During his keynote speech, Richard praised her by name, called her indispensable, his smile a little too intimate. The room applauded, oblivious, but I saw her hands twisting in her lap, her gaze avoiding mine. My thoughts spiraled, replaying the late-night texts, the vague business trips that left her drained, the way she withdrawn when I tried to hold her. I wanted to shout, to pull her away from him, but fear held me in place. Fear what the truth might be if I forced it out. Then it happened, as the gala wound down. Richard took Elise by the hand and led her to the dance floor, his palms sliding low across her back. She didn't resist, but her eyes met mine, wide and pleading, as if begging me to understand. My vision blurred. Rage and heartbreak collided. I couldn't take it anymore. I strode to the stage where the microphone still stood from Richard's speech, my hands trembling as I gripped it. "Ladies and gentlemen," I began, voice shaking but clear, slicing through the music. The crowd froze. Heads turned. Elise went pale. Richard's eyes narrowed, his hand tightening around her. I have something to say. My throat burned, but I forced the words out. Richard Voss, the man you're all praising, has been crossing lines with my wife. I've seen it tonight, and I've suspected it for months. His mentorship is a sham. He's been using his position to manipulate and take what isn't his. Gasps rippled through the room. Elise broke free and rushed toward me, her voice trembling. Mark, stop. You don't understand. But I couldn't stop. The floodgates were open. Every suspicion, every late-night ache poured out of me in raw, unfiltered fury. Richard's face hardened, the charm gone, replaced by icy rage. He didn't deny it. The silence that followed was suffocating. Elise clutched my arm, tears streaking down her face. Mark, it's not what you think, she cried. He's been pressuring me, threatening my job. I didn't know how to tell you. Her words shattered me all over again, but this time not from betrayal. From guilt. She hadn't been unfaithful. She'd been cornered, trapped by a predator in a tailored suit. My fury turned toward Richard, who stood frozen as his empire began to collapse under the weight of truth. The aftermath was chaos. Whispers erupted, phones lit up, and colleagues stepped away from him, faces etched with disgust. Elise clung to me, sobbing as we left the glittering hall behind, her confession heavy between us. She had been fighting alone, terrified, and I'd nearly lost her my own mistrust. Days later, the news broke. Richard Voss was terminated, his reputation in ruins as more victims came forward with their own stories. Elise resigned, vowing never to return. We sat in our silent living room, the air thick with everything we hadn't said. I should have told you, she whispered, her hand trembling in mine. I was so afraid. I should have seen it, I murmured, voice heavy with regret. I should have protected you. We were both broken, but together, the betrayal hadn't been hers. It was his, and I'd made sure he paid. But the scars stayed, reminders that trust, once cracked, takes time to mend. As I held her close, I knew we'd fight to rebuild it, to rebuild us, no matter how long it took.